What's going on, everyone? We are back on my pontoon build. This episode is a very special episode because we are taking it out on the water for its first maiden voyage. If you don't know anything about this build or haven't seen an episode in a while, let me catch you up. I have been building this boat from the ground up for the past almost a year. The base of this pontoon is from pontoonwholesalers.com. They mainly sell a third pontoon kit that goes onto your existing pontoon. It's a very simple and easy kit to install. It only takes about a couple hours to install, and it gets delivered directly to your house. It comes in a few boxes and you piece it all together kind of like a Lego set. That is what the base of this pontoon is, except for it is 3 of them and not just the center pontoon. And what's even more special about this kit is that it's not their normal gray color. This is their translucent pontoons that have LED lights in them, so you can control each pontoon with a different color, and the whole boat basically lights up. It's a very unique, very cool design, and one person can even put it together. That is the base of this pontoon. Next up, we installed the decking from pontoonstuff.com. All new wood deck flooring, along with their woven vinyl and a vinyl in the back area to separate the front and the back section. Also installed their luxury line tan seating that looks awesome up here in the front, along with the back around the bar. Moving to the back, I built this bar/helm. The back area has a whole console setup with controls, speedometer, steering, everything like that. Sides have plenty of room for all the seating, for everyone to sit around and play cards, have drinks, whatever you may want to. Makes for a fun day out on the water. Then I installed a 90 horsepower brand new Suzuki motor. We had a little bit of an issue with it. I couldn't get it running at first, but we got that figured out, and it was a very simple, easy fix. Sounds amazing. I'm excited to get it out in the water. And then last episode, we finished up the wiring. We wired up this whole boat, installed new speakers, radio, a bunch of light switches, installed all the LED lights, and organized all the lighting underneath the bar. All the electronics is run off this big lithium-ion battery from Vader. It's basically an RV battery that runs everything on this boat. Very overpowered, so I can install pretty much whatever I want onto this boat and not have to worry about it draining the battery at all. All the wiring is marine grade wiring, so we don't have to worry about it corroding pretty much ever. You want to make sure you use marine grade wiring for everything on a boat, especially if you're near the salt water, because it will corrode very easily. We got all that taken care of. In this episode, we have a little bit more to do. We have these bar seats to bolt down along with the captain's chair. We need to bolt all that down, make sure it's in the correct spot. We have a little bit more wiring to do. I have all these cups. Each one of these cups on the boat has LED rings in them that I had to wire up and solder. I got almost all of them wired up and ready. I have to run all the wiring to the boat. There are 10 cup holders in this bar, along with 4 up in the front around the bench seats. We need to run wires to all those, along with a Bluetooth system to connect it all. Hopefully I can make it all work with the existing wiring I have, but no guarantees. Also, we need to get it ready for the water. Need to install a bunch of life jackets in here, along with a fire extinguisher, a throwable, pretty much everything you need to make sure this boat is legal enough for the water. Need to get all that taken care of, and then we can take it out for its first test drive. So let's go ahead and tackle all this wiring, get it all done, install everything underneath the seats, and go from there. Stay tuned. I'm very excited. Get this thing out in the water. Let's do it. Today's the day. It is ready for the first test drive. Hopefully nothing goes wrong. I'm gonna quickly go over the final things I did just to get it ready. I was told the motor was up too high, so I went ahead and lowered it down a couple notches. Pretty easy to do when you have a cherry picker. Didn't take more than 5-10 minutes. Moving up top, I got the last bit of wiring done. I got all the cup holders all wired up, hooked up to Bluetooth, and I'll be able to control with a remote. It is not the same remote that controls the rest of the lighting. I couldn't get it to be compatible. Long story short, it's a different kind of LED that runs them. The cup holders have 4 wires running to them, and the rest of the LED lights have 3. So I was not able to make them compatible, but the other remote actually works on these cup holders, so it all works out. Also have all the seats bolted down. I got one up here. This one is different because it is removable. That way you can get inside. You just unscrew it from the deck, and you can move it out of the way. And then the door opens up perfectly fine, so you can get in there and get to everything else. A couple other things I installed right here is a battery bank. I can just plug it into an extension cord and it'll keep my batteries charged. Also hooked up a 2000 watt power inverter that I can run house appliances off of, 110 volts of pretty much everything. With this system and the RV battery I have, we can pretty much run anything off of for a long time. Also installed all the essentials I need to be out in the water. Fire extinguisher, first aid kit. Under both these seats are 14 life jackets which is plenty for how many people it's gonna be on the boat. Storage underneath there, and storage underneath this one. All good to go. And then the final thing I did is I threw back on the fire pit. This is a floating flame fire pit. These are mainly made for pontoon boats, but they are so light and movable that you can move them anywhere. Take them tailgating, put it by your pool, throw it in the back of your truck, and take it wherever you want to go. Without the tank in there, it's only around 40 pounds, so it's pretty easy to move around. I can even move it out of the way right here, that we have more room to stretch our legs or something. Pretty nice having a table up here. It also doubles as 2 coolers on the side. You can throw some ice in there, keep your drinks cool. Drain plug at the bottom. 4 extra cup holders around it. Like I said, these flip up and have extra storage or for a cooler. Propane tank underneath, good to go. With all that done and complete, it is ready to go in the water. I have this new drone that I'm gonna be able to get some cool footage for you guys above the water, test it all out. Very user-friendly drone too, because the last one I had, a little tricky. So we're gonna get some cool footage for you guys. Let's hook up the truck and put it in the water. First test drive was awesome, but just like everything else, first time using something usually comes with some issues. Not too many, but let's go over it. First off, we'll start with the positive. At night, with all these lights turned on, this thing just looks crazy. The camera really doesn't do it justice. It is so bright when it's out on the water, especially the lights in the pontoons. It really lights up the surrounding area and especially the water. Definitely something you will never see out in the water. This thing is one of a kind for sure. The drone was awesome. It's very user-friendly. It's a perfect beginner drone if you're looking to get into this kind of thing. It's a perfect beginner drone if you're looking to get into flying around and start somewhere on the more affordable side. This is definitely the one for you. Got some great footage. I'm still learning kind of how to drive it. It's been a few years since I've actually flown a drone. Excited to test it out more, try to mess with the settings and try to get a clearer picture. The link for this drone is in my description. You guys can check it out if you want to. But I believe the footage I got is really awesome, especially for flying a drone and driving a boat at the same time. I did pretty okay. One other thing I did that I didn't really show on camera very much because it was pretty boring is I broke in this motor. This motor is brand new, so you have to go through a whole break-in procedure, and I did that all by myself. Procedure takes over 3 hours just for like the first section. You have to idle it in the water for 10 minutes along with keeping it around 1,000 RPMs for another 15 minutes. And then for an hour and 45 minutes, you have to keep it at 3,000 RPMs. So I was traveling around my lake for the 3.5 hours I was out there. Now for some of the issues I had, there's a few issues that I want to fix and go ahead and get taken care of. First issue I had was I was blowing the fuse that controls my Veeniix top. There's a couple reasons I think I was blowing it. I think it was just drawing too much power because I have all those LED lights also running to the same fuse. So I think if I do a little bit of rewiring and have it on its own fuse block, well, it should be good to go. Wasn't that big of an issue. I put a new fuse in there and it was fine. Another thing, I'm not sure if it's an issue or not, my motor height. It seems still a little bit high, but also take into account that it's just me on the boat. There's not an extra 800 pounds of people, so maybe when it gets a full load, that's the perfect height. But take a look, see what you guys think. If it needs to go up or down a little bit, let me know. Another issue that's kind of important is the speedometer. It's not working right now. The only speedometers I had were GPS, so this one's actually one that connects to the motor. Don't know how to connect it yet, so we're gonna figure that out. Next issue is with the seating. Not really the seats itself, it's just where you put your feet. I don't have a footrest, and when you're underway, it gets a little annoying that you have to hold on with your hands. So I already ordered the material. I'm gonna be building a footrest around the whole bar for everyone. That will be built in the next episode though. Another issue I had, which is more my fault, is when we were out in the lake at night, I actually drained one of the batteries. And the reason I drained one of the batteries is because I forgot to turn the RV battery back on. So that whole day I was out in the water, I was only running power off of my starter battery. So I ended up draining that whole thing while we were out in the middle of the lake. Couldn't start the motor, a little freaking out, but I figured out that the other battery was not turned on. I turned it off a couple days ago, that way I'm not draining it or anything. So it was really only my fault, but I do want to add some battery gauges somewhere on the boat. That way I know if the battery's getting low and I'm not in the middle of the lake. Especially at night. And the last issue I have is something I already prepared for. I already have it handled. But if I turn this on, you can kind of hear what I'm talking about. That right there is the bilge pump to my water tank and my gas tank. The pontoons themselves are open at the top, so whenever I'm underway, water is splashing up and getting inside there. That was something I prepared for early on, so there's actually bilge pumps in both of those. It's not a big deal right now, but it is something that I want to take care of because I don't like those filling up after one day. And the way I can fix that is by installing underskin on the whole pontoon boat. Underskinning is an aluminum sheeting that goes underneath the pontoon. It'll actually do a lot more than just keep water out of my pontoons. It's actually going to increase my speed because there won't be water splashing up on the crossbars, slowing me down. Also, it'll bring the volume down a lot because there's not going to be water splashing up onto your deck. Other benefits of doing it besides just the water issue, but that is something that I want to get taken care of. Overall, very good test drive. I would say 8.5 out of 10. But with all those issues we talked about, this boat is not done. Plus, I haven't really fully tested it out yet. So next episode, I'm gonna go ahead and take care of all those issues that we're having, along with a couple extra things that I've already bought for this boat. A couple of very cool features that I'm excited to show off. I'm also gonna redesign the whole fencing. I have a couple ideas that I'm kind of playing with. I wanna match the rest of the vibe of the boat a little bit better. The fencing right now is just kind of plain, so I wanna add a little bit of color, a little bit of pop to it. And lastly, we still need to test out the party factor about this. I need to get my friends out here on the boat, spend the day out in the water, fully testing it out, see what they can break, if they break anything, and make sure we get this thing 100%. That is all for the next episode, though. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have an Instagram and want to see my behind the scenes footage, see what I'm working on that week, see what's coming up, see what I'm actually looking to buy and build next, you can check me out there if you want to. Email right here if you need to get a hold of me for any reason. Let me know in the comments if you see anything else we need to fix or need to take care of. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.